Hi, welcome to the Israel First television program with myself, Martin Blackham, and with my wife, Nathalie Blackham. Great to be with you, to have your company today. We're the program that looks at Israel. We look at the news and we look behind the news, and we have also interesting discussions about biblical subjects with the end of times and Hebraic understanding and the letters, the Hebrew letters of the alphabet or Aleph-Bet. And Natalie will be looking at another letter today, later in the program. Well, as we come to you today, we are in the middle of a ceasefire with Iran. I understand from our sources that Israel is now in this ceasefire, or the United States is, and Israel is kind of following along. In Gaza, well, goodness knows whether it's a ceasefire or war. Still things going on there. And in Lebanon, again, is it a ceasefire or war, as there are activities still happening and the Hezbollah terrorists are still firing at Israeli troops, and Israeli troops are monitoring the area of South Lebanon. Now,
and not only that, reservists are back also into the army.
Right. There was a call up of army reservists. If you remember, those are the members of the public who have served in the IDF but have gone into work positions and then are called up from their work or abroad or wherever they are to serve in the military. Now, one of the issues has been about Israel becoming a base or a United States army base, and the civil aviation head has said that United States refueling planes at Ben Gurion Airport are crowding out civilian planes. Ben Gurion is the national airport. There are other airports. Indeed, there's one in Eilat, and there's a new one called Rimon. But Ben Gurion is the main airport, the main international airport. The way that you would enter Israel if you're coming here as a tourist. Now, Shmuel Zaki laments Israel's airport is now a US military base. He's warned of higher fares and lower availability because the American military planes are taking up parking spots. The significant presence of United States military aircraft at Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion Airport is preventing a full return to normal commercial flight operations at Israel's main international gateway, while also driving up operational costs for local airlines, expenses that aviation industry officials warn will ultimately be passed on to travelers. In other words, guess what? Airline tickets will be more expensive. Amid continued regional tensions with Iran, Civil Aviation Authority head Shmuel Zaki warned defense and government officials that Ben Gurion Airport, being used as a military base, will have the threat of not only affecting the Israeli airlines, but foreign airlines and harming the economic stability of the country. Just to fill you in, basically, these refueling planes, military planes, are coming to refuel the jets who are flying, for example, from the UK, American base, and then they're being refueled in the air by these planes, and then they're going to Iran. Now, these planes, these big refueling planes, are taking up space, and many have said, well, why can't they be moved to the, the army bases or the Air Force bases in Israel? Because that would have freed up space at Ben Gurion. It appears the defense establishment lacks sufficient understanding of the severity of the damage to civil aviation and the effect flight supply has on prices, says Zaki. When he wrote to the Transportation Ministry, he says the warning comes when there's more than a month of the volatile US-Israeli ceasefire with Iran, as I was saying at the beginning of the program, has come into effect. And while Israeli airlines have been working to speed up the resumption of flight operations, European airlines and indeed US carriers have pushed back their return as far as September, and we're in May as we come to you today. The delay in the return of foreign airlines is already reducing the supply of available flights and pushing up ticket prices in the run-up to the peak summer season. And I know that a lot of you are very keen to have an update about that because you want to look forward to coming back to visit Israel, which might be a bit tricky, Nathalie, at the moment, to find an airline with a price that you can afford. Now, one of the things we've talked about on the programme, which is happening across the world, is anti-Semitism. It's one of the things that has been rearing its ugly head. And the European Jewish Association has said that Jews need to prepare to leave Belgium. The EJA, the European Jewish Association chair, Rabbi Menachem Margolin, has warned of anti-Semitic motives behind the prosecution of two mohels. I think we've spoken about this issue before.
You have to explain what is a mohel.
Yeah. We spoke about the issue of mohels in Belgium. They are the people who carry out circumcision for the Brit Milah, which is undertaken by families when they have boys, Jewish boys. And unfortunately, there have been prosecutions.
Which is a sign of the Jewishness, is one of their commandments, which is very important.
Yeah. So Rabbi Menachem Margolin has issued a dire warning, Nathalie, announcing that the Antwerp Public Prosecutor's Office intends to refer two Jewish ritual circumcises, or mohels, to the correctional court. This is not borderline and not ambiguous. This is anti-Semitism, and it's not just happening in Belgium. Margolin declared another red line has been crossed. The prosecution is anti-Semitic in nature and represents a clear attempt to misuse irrelevant constitutional provisions in order to effectively ban circumcision. This, of course, would mean that the Jewish people could not live there unless they assimilate and do not carry out a circumcision. Now, what's very interesting is that this is something that, of course, happened in Nazi Germany, something that happened in Israel when there was the Greeks and there was the uprising. Then, because of the fact that the Greeks were banning circumcision. So it's something that's happened over history, which is a direct attack on the Jewish community. According to Margolin, the move echoes historic attempts in Europe to restrict Jewish religious practices, not similar, not comparable, identical in its logic of restriction to what we saw in Europe before the Second World War.
Which is very interesting because the Jewish people do it on the Eighth Day, and which is the day in the life of a boy where the Potrombina thing, well, this is my French thing is coming back, is like when you don't bleed, you have something in your blood who make you not bleeding, and is the highest in all your life on the Eighth Day, which is amazing. So when you know all these things, it's just amazing. But it's even more amazing because we see the rise of Islam also in Europe, and they can't circumcise, and we don't hear anything about that. Now, I know usually is when the boys are like 12 or 13, so it's a different time. But it's very interesting to know, and we will do a bit more research on that because it's very, it's specifically anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic. So this is very interesting. And also we don't hear, this is all in the news, but we don't hear also about the circumcision that they do on girls, which is terrible, and who is done in a lot of African countries and I think Islamic countries. Again, it would be interesting to look at that. We know some Africans in England who go back to Africa to do what they have to do these things to the girls, which is a horrible thing. It's not natural. And again, you can do some research on all these things because it's very interesting again to see. We need to go back into righteousness. We need to go back into the path that God has given us. Anyway.
And it's part of that, it's part of the anti-Semitism which is raising its ugly head, as I said,
Yes.
in Europe, in the UK particularly. We've had the attacks that have happened to two Jewish men, and also into the synagogues, the ambulances, the United Hatzalah, the Jewish organisation's ambulances in London.
In the UK.
This is something that's happening, and we know that the purpose is that the Jewish people come back to the land of Israel, and indeed this is part of the nations spewing them out, I guess.
You're right. And it's coming back home for them.
Right.
It's like their country. It's like their home.
Right.
And we know Israel, there is no other countries like spiritually. And again, they say, like every country has an angel who is looking after it. But like in Israel is God who is directly not in control, but like in directing affairs in Israel. And now we've been living here for a long time. And we can feel all these things. You can't understand it with your brain. You have to understand it with your heart, and we will speak a bit more about that later on.
Well, the anti-Semitism rearing its ugly head is a reflection of the Holocaust, what the terrible events in Europe before the Second World War, and indeed during the Second World War. Now, one of the news items that's come up, which I think you'll find very interesting, is the danger of AI Holocaust videos and photos being fake and distorting our ever-changing history, say the Jewish people. Experts are debating whether AI-generated Holocaust content aids memory or distorts it. Basically, AI is taking a photograph or a series of photographs and making it into a video, like moving pictures. The World Jewish Congress have done a video of Anne Frank, which many feel is a peril of doing this AI fake videos. The Times of Israel said, seated at a desk, the girl smiles, then looks down and begins to write in a notebook. It's unmistakably Anne Frank. But wait, there is only one known film of Anne Frank and her sister Margot, and this is not it. The new 23-second clip of perhaps the world's best-known victim of the Holocaust was created using artificial intelligence, part of the educational campaign by the World Jewish Congress. It's so incredible that we can animate these photographs, writes the daughter of a Holocaust survivor. Meanwhile, another commentator says, disgusting AI, and Frank deserves better. The comments illustrate a divide on the use of AI for Holocaust remembrance and education. Remember that a lot of the Holocaust survivors are sadly disappearing. A lot of them are very old now, of course. Some employ these tools respectfully and responsibly, and some don't, creating new means to share the stories of victims of the rapidly diminishing number of live witnesses. And there have been witnesses who have made videos to share with others. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when AI is using photographs or old video, and it's designed to recreate a scene in history. And the problem is that we live in a world where there is a demand for clicks. There's a demand for content. There's a demand for people to go on the internet and have videos that they want to see. And sadly, that one of the demands is for the Holocaust. People want to see videos, and there is a limited number of films. But of course, with AI, they can make new videos. This risk has concerned even well-intentioned Holocaust AI efforts, such as the World Jewish Councils, could end up further mistrust in Holocaust documentation and should be avoided. One of the things that could happen is that those who deny the Holocaust will have evidence in their opinion because of these AI videos being fake. So it's a very fine line.
It's very, yeah.
And
Very interesting, because I think you see like emet and sheker. Emet is truth, sheker is the opposite, lies. And in our world, there is really now two paths that we're seeing very clearly now. Is just
so
amazing, really.
we will keep you updated with of course with AI, which is something we are regularly featuring on the Israel First television program, but also we will keep you updated with the Holocaust AI. Now, Natalie, you've got a new letter for us.
Yes, I have some
in
very
today's program.
interesting things. And when you see, again, speaking about all these things, you know, I was learning this week that Torah is eternal. Now, when we read, there is this beautiful Psalm, the Psalm 119, which is where David used all the letters of the Aleph-Bet and put them one by one, 8 verses for every letter, and is 22 letters, so it's the longest psalm. And you see, he speaks a lot in our translation in English. Very often is written the law, I love your law, blah, 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 blah. But hopefully you know now by now, when it's not the law, it's written Torah, and Torah is the teaching. And not the teaching with the head, we were speaking before, is the teaching with the heart. Yes, we are using our brain, obviously, but it needs to come from the brain to the heart, and that is changing us. And this is the more important thing. So today we are looking at the 12th letter, which is the middle letter, and is Lamed. I will show it to you because it's a beautiful letter. It's one of my favorite, but I have few. This is Lamed, and Lamed is Le, and is for teaching and for learning. And this is what is all about on earth. We are here to learn, we are here to teach also, because when we learn, the great thing is that we can teach it. We don't need to know, we don't need to be erudite, we don't need to be like amazing people. Sometimes what we know, we can pass it to somebody, and it's very important. And sometimes when we teach people, suddenly it's changing the life of people, and people are changing the way of thinking because of the teaching. So it's just amazing. This letter is the tallest letter, okay, in the Aleph-Bet, tallest letter, and is the one in the middle. So again, is to show the importance. I'm going to show you all the letters together, and you can see it at the bottom there, and is next to the Chet that we saw last week, and next week we look the Mem, and when you put the name together, is Melech, is the king, okay? So, and also, you know that God is saying in Isaiah, I am the Aleph and the Tav. And Jesus says also in the New Testament, I am in the Revelation, funny enough, I am the Omega and the Aleph, no, the Alpha and Omega, sorry, this is the Greek, when it's translated in Greek, but when you read it in Hebrew, is I am the Aleph and the Tav, the first letter and the last letter, but he's in the middle of all these letters. He's the Melech, he's the king, and which is like amazing, because you see, when you learn something like geometry, medicine, all of that is limited, but the Torah is illimited. It's like you can learn it for eternity and you will find it again and again. So when you think about when the Torah was given to the Jewish people, this was the most precious things given, and you can spend your life learning, and you will carry on learning, and we will carry on learning also during eternity. So this is like amazing thing, which is also the number. Let me see, because I have done some, I was teaching a bit of the Hebrew for some people many years ago, and I've done some little things, and I find them again today, so I thought it's quite fun. The number, the numerical number, and now he's like 30, which is interesting because to be a rabbi, you need to be about 30 because you need to learn a certain amount of things. To be or was fun. I was is his name. You know, sometimes people need to see things to remember. And there was a very good thing also that I want to tell you is lamed, when you read it, is le, me, de in Hebrew, because you don't put usually the how do we say, the vowels. And so it's like levin mevin da'at, which means a heart that understands wisdom. And we're saying when we learn things, we use our brain, it needs to go back into our heart for us to be able to give it to others and also to apply it in our lives. So it's very important. And also something that I wanted to tell you also, yeah, when we're speaking about Meler, is very interesting. When you put the letters together, like the Lamed is like a kaf that we were looking at the letter last time, and it's like a vav at the top because it's the tallest. So it's like the vav and the kaf makes the name Lamed. And when you count, because you know how we like to count in Hebrew, you can always have fun with that. And the vav is 6 and the kaf is 20, so it's 26. And when you think 26, what is it? Is the name of God, his personal name. Yud, He, and Vav and He is his personal name. And so he's the Melech, he's the king, and he's a good king all the time. He always brings good thing in our life. Sometimes it doesn't seem good, but at the end of it, it will be good. And what we are learning is to be better people, to understand the world, to understand the universe. And so all these things is important. And so when we speak about learning, it's like something with genuine, okay? Because when we learn with our brain, it is not good enough. And when we're teaching, you will remember your teachers who were genuine in their teaching. You will remember them for all their life. And how were they learning? How they were teaching you? With their hearts. I remember my math teacher, my gosh, she was very special. And she was teaching us with her heart. And we had the best year of all our years of, I had my best year of all my years of math. And all our class had very high score because we just were enthralled by by her teaching. And she was enthusiastic, and you know, enthusiastic means like coming from God. And that's it. I just wanted to give you again one more letter, and is the one in the middle. Let me show you again. Lamed in the middle of the alphabet. You see the one in the middle, and is part of Melech, the king. And the tallest letter to show us teaching and learning is one of the goal and the pleasure also of learning, you know, of learning during our lives. And I think till we die, we can learn, because you know, I was thinking before, well, the old people, they don't really need to learn. Well, I can see, yes, we can always, it's like an adventure. Learning is always beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great to be with you, and we've enjoyed your company. Don't forget to visit the website, which is www.israelfirst.org. There's a lot of information there. You can see the news from Israel on our media page. You can order Nathalie's book, and you can even get it through Amazon, The Beauty of the Hebrew Language,
On Kindle.
on the Kindle, and you can read it online. And you can also subscribe to the weekly newsletter, and indeed on Substack, subscribe to the daily newsletter. You can also help us financially, because we're only able to come into your homes because of the faithful support of our financial supporters and friends. So please do consider, if the program is helping you, to help us financially. That would be a great blessing for us, wouldn't it, Nathalie?
You're right, because we're all connected to each other. There is something also that we need to learn. We are connected to each other.
And remember, we're the program that looks at the land, the people, and the language.